Hey, Josh says he's going to call any second.
Lloyd and Brian Babineau. Hello, Josh Gates here from Discovery's Expedition Unknown, coming to you from what is known as the Mother City, Cape Town, South Africa, here at the bottom of the continent. I just wanted to drop by and say hi and say what's up and say thanks for being a fan. I really appreciate it. I know that you have a great pyramid theory that incorporates everything, all caps, everything, to one common thread. You've emailed it to me. I am going to read the email, investigate it, digest it. I'll get back to you after I pick my jaw up off the floor. I will reach out to you and we can talk about making the crowning jewel of future Expedition Unknown episodes. But listen, Lloyd and Brian, I appreciate you watching from Cape Town. Good evening. Hope to see you both real soon out in the world. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Josh. Hello, world, and thank you for watching our series on ancient Egypt. Something we cannot stress enough is the importance of watching our series in order. Every video adds to what happened in the previous one, so if you skip any, you might miss something important. Now, I just want to give you a basic outline so you kind of know what to expect in this series. We're going to walk you back in time thousands of years ago before the pyramid was ever built. We're going to start with the conception of the Sphinx and end with Khalif breaking into the pyramid.
In this series, we are going to answer a lot of ancient mysteries, but some videos may get confusing if you don't have a strong grasp of our concept. We've tried our best to be clear and articulate as possible. But if you are still confused, please don't hesitate to post a comment, and either my son or I will get back to you as soon as possible, or even make another video explaining something in further detail.
I know some of you watching might have seen our previous videos on the pyramid where we thought we solved the mystery. If you have, please don't let that influence your perception on this series. Although we were correct in our theory on the function of the pyramid, we didn't research enough to fully comprehend the reason they needed it. We were ignorant to many of the archaeological and geographical features in Egypt. Because of that, we had a lot of opposing viewpoints arguing with our theory.
When faced with opposition, there are a few paths a person can take. First, they can completely ignore what everyone is saying and keep pushing out the same narrative because they have too much pride. Second, if they can give up, they can say it's too hard and they don't want to do it anymore. Both of these options are easy, but not helpful to anyone. The last path is difficult, but necessary for growth. It involves a person examining their past mistakes and recognizing their own ignorance, learning from it, and trying again harder.
We took the hard road. When people said the elevations don't work, or why would the Egyptians need water when they live on the edge of the Nile, or other major things that destroyed our theory, we actually listened. So we began researching, diving into the history of Egypt to find out the truth. And we found something very interesting during this time. Modern Egyptology regarding the pyramid is all guesswork, based on a few historical moments that they know to be true, but don't know why. All they've done is taken their best guess at why these things happened.
So what we did is look at the actual events, stripped away the Egyptological reason behind them, and asked ourselves why. This proved to be much more difficult than you would expect. So much so that we decided that the only way to answer these questions was to go to Egypt and investigate it for ourselves and learn more. So that's exactly what we did. In December of 2019, we went to Egypt.
While we were there, we found a ton of new information regarding the pyramid we couldn't otherwise find online. We'll reveal all of that to you throughout the course of our videos as it becomes relevant. And one thing you can be excited for is a smoking gun. We found something that in Egypt that 100% backs up our theory, and we can't wait to reveal this with you.
But for now, there's a couple of things we need to go over before we wrap this video up. If you don't already know, the pharaohs were known for manipulating and controlling water. This was their claim to fame, so to speak. But when you're trying to control water, there is an obstacle you need to overcome. This obstacle is something that not only plagued Egypt, ancient Egypt, no pun intended, but also still provides difficulty today. The only difference is we have modern technology and past experience to help us.
If you follow our videos in order, we're going to walk you through the conception and the creation of major Egyptian monuments in the order they were created, and reveal this obstacle to you at the same time they would have discovered it. Then continue down the path of renovations to reveal how they overcame this obstacle without any modern technology or help from extraterrestrials.
I'm sure you are wondering what you're looking at behind us, and we need to describe to you in detail so when you go into the rest of the videos, you aren't confused on anything. So let me step back and tell you what we did after our research in Egypt. Upon our return, we went to the drawing board and decided to do something that nobody in history has done. Draw out everything based on elevations rather than components in it.
We used Herodotus to find the important parts of Egypt relating to the pyramid, and then researched their elevations. As you can see, those locations are the Mediterranean Sea, which is sea level, the Giza Plateau, and various elevations and locations on it, ancient Lake Moeris, which is 82 feet above sea level, and finally Aswan at 300 feet above sea level. We have quotes from Herodotus to explain our reasoning for picking these 4 locations, and we'll share the quotes with you each time a new location becomes relevant. As you can see, our scale is based on elevations. Horizontally, our drawings are not to scale. This doesn't matter, so please don't argue with us on it. We understand that Aswan is roughly 400 miles south of Giza, Lake Moeris is 50, and the Mediterranean is close to 150 miles north. We just had to fit these locations on our board behind us as best we could. But our elevations are perfectly scaled down 1 inch per 10 feet. If you're skeptical of our elevations and want to test any of them for yourself, you can find a link to the website we used in the description below.
The last thing we need to do is go over is the ancient mysteries you can expect to be answered throughout the course of our videos. We are going to start with the conception of the Sphinx and end with the reason Khalif couldn't find the swivel door when he broke into the pyramid, like we mentioned earlier. In between, you can expect to learn the reason for the Sphinx in general, why its body appears to be extremely eroded, why it's such a peculiar shape, why ancient Lake Moeris changed its elevation so many times in the past, why it turned to salt water and nobody understands. The method the Egyptians used to level off the foundation and base of the pyramid with so much precision that we today have a hard time achieving their level of perfection. The purpose of the Great Pyramid and the reason for every component in it, even the ones commonly labeled as mistakes. The reason Upper and Lower Egypt combined at 3150 BC, the reason for the Osiris chambers, why the pharaohs were thought to be godlike, and finally, the reason for the mass exodus in Egypt, in ancient Egypt. This is not everything we are going to be answering, but these are the major points that have baffled Egyptologists for years.
It's important that you realize we aren't giving the Egyptians any advanced technology in any of our videos. We also aren't going to be throwing any wild or wacky ideas at you to justify our theory. All of these things are related by one very simple concept we'll demonstrate in our next video, and have a very logical and simple explanation.
By only giving them the tools they had at the time, the odds of us answering all of these mysteries and not being correct is virtually impossible. If you finish our series and still think we are wrong, we would love to hear from you as to what you think we missed. But also, if you think we are correct and have the ability to write a book or make a movie, we would love to talk to you. So we are going to post our email address in the description below.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you're intrigued and plan on watching the rest of our videos in order like we said. Join us for part 2, where we divulge 2 mysteries: the reason for the Sphinx and the reason Upper and Lower Egypt combined at 3150 BC.
Thank you.